In Underhanded, the new novel by Jim Billman, Sonny Kristoff shares his adventures during the changing times after World War II with a refreshing inside-out look at history. Written from the perspective of men's fast-pitch softball, this was the time when baseball's little brother became America's most popular team sport. But unlike baseball, its imperfect dimensions brought about its demise. Order Underhanded on Amazon. Underhanded by longtime Southeast Iowa native Jim Billman. Available now.
Good morning. I'm Brent Adams here with your Rural Strong Morning Ag Report for this Tuesday, February 27th. Leading off the headlines this morning, the Agribusiness Association of Iowa Foundation Monday announced that its building will be named after Bill Northey and simply called the Northey Building. Foundation Board Chair Mark White says just as another giant in Iowa agriculture, Henry Wallace, has a state ag building named after him, the Foundation Board of Directors felt that naming our building after Bill will ensure that he will never be forgotten. Northey served as CEO of the Agribusiness Association of Iowa at the time of his death earlier this month. Northey previously served as the nation's first Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation at USDA and as Secretary of Agriculture for Iowa. Further, a Northey Memorial Fund has been established at the Agribusiness Association of Iowa Foundation. The Agribusiness Association of Iowa Foundation is a nonprofit organization that promotes research projects, member education, stewardship, and scholarships that benefit Agribusiness Association of Iowa members and their families. Well, the cattle industry is the latest farm sector to weigh in on its priorities for a still elusive farm bill. National Cattlemen's Beef Association Policy Division Chair Kim Brackett says NCBA's top policy priority is the Farm Bill.
But the question is that actually going to happen this year? That's in my crystal ball. I'm not sure that it is, but we'll certainly want to keep working on that.
Echoing the sentiment and predictions of other farm and ranch groups over the continuing Farm Bill policy and funding disagreements. But should there be a Farm Bill breakthrough, Brackett tells NCBA's Beltway Beef podcast, the groups have several specific priorities.
Making sure that FMD will continue to be funded, vaccine will continue to be funded in that, making sure we don't have a livestock title, and making sure that there are dollars available for those voluntary conservation programs that our membership does utilize that's funded in the Farm Bill.
Conservation programs like EQIP made up 7% or $60 billion of the last Farm Bill. Brackett, meantime, says the cattle industry will continue to push back against animal rights activists and government agency overregulation.
Whether that's, the BLM landscape health and conservation rule, it's increasing Endangered Species Act regulation.
But for now, agriculture continues to operate under the outdated 2018 farm law extended through September 30th, with Farm Bill disagreements complicated by external fights over spending, immigration, and foreign policy. Well, concerns remain about an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza in our nation, occurring since early 2022, and its potential impact on poultry flocks. More from USDA Radio's Rod Bain.
Earlier this month, USDA's Chief Veterinarian, Rosemary Sifford, offered a one-word response to state directors and commissioners of agriculture regarding the current status of highly pathogenic avian influenza in our nation.
Still.
As in still around, a point confirmed with the recent announcement of high-path AI from a non-poultry source in a non-commercial backyard flock in West Virginia. This is the first case of HPAI in domestic birds in the Mountaineer State since this current outbreak began 2 years ago. Dr. Sifford noted a silver lining can be found throughout this outbreak. thanks in part to improved biosecurity efforts of bird owners.
We are still seeing very low rates of farm-to-farm transmission, lateral spread.
In terms of 2024 trends regarding a continued high-path AI outbreak, the chief veterinarian says with spring migration of wild birds coming up, alert remains high for more cases. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
Did USDA's first look at 2024 total meat production show an increase over the previous year, which recorded a year-over-year production decline? Here again is Rod Bain.
Last year was the first time since 2014 that total U.S. meat production did not record a year-over-year increase. Will that trend continue in 2024? As USDA livestock analyst Shale Shagam explained at this year's Ag Outlook Forum,
when we're talking about the total meat sector, we're talking about very, very small growth, less than 0.1%, taking us up to about just shy of 107 million pounds.
In terms of expected production by meat category,
basically what we're looking at is declining beef and turkey production, but increases in pork and broiler meat. Most of these are not very large changes, with the exception of beef.
That due to the impacts of multi-year drought on cattle supplies. The expected decline in turkey production this year is associated with a period of weak prices and effects from a recent outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza the past few months. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
And finally this morning, the USDA's inaugural Ag Trade Mission for the year takes place this week in Angola, with participants hoping to expand sales of their respective products within that African market. Here one final time is Rod Bain.
Several firsts are associated with USDA's latest Ag Trade Mission going on this week. The first of 2024, the first to the African nation of Angola. Deputy Agriculture Secretary Xochitl Torres Small heads the delegation, made up of representatives from ag-based companies, organizations, and state departments of agriculture. Among the participants, Matt Copeland, African representative to the U.S. Meat Export Federation.
From our side, Angola is an important market. It has gone through some challenges, but in terms of developed customer base, developed importer base, and people that we already know and trust and have trading histories with, there are a few in that market who've been incumbent there for quite a long time. They have a wide disparity in terms of wealth. There are certainly a lot of folk who can afford some of the best beef in the world.
Business-to-business meetings are scheduled with potential buyers from Angola and neighboring nations such as the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Republic of the Congo. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
You can keep up with the latest from the world of agriculture by subscribing to the Tractors and Troubadours podcast from Rural Strong Media. Each week, I bring you agriculture industry newsmakers, hot button industry issues, educational features, and the best in traditional country music. The Tractors and Troubadours podcast can be found at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We also invite you to join us daily on Rural Strong Radio, our 24/7 streaming radio station, found at ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app for your mobile device. Each day, we bring you our award-winning agriculture programming, as well as the best in traditional country music, mixed in with a little bluegrass, western swing, southern rock, and inspirational music. Again, the place to find Rural Strong Radio is ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. We're portable, so take us with you everywhere you go while you're working on the farm or ranch. Let's get through the workday together. Well, I'll be reporting the rest of the week from Houston, Texas for the Commodity Classic Farm Show.
At Commodity Classic, you'll connect with farmers from around the world as we explore new frontiers in agriculture. Join us in Houston, February 28th through March 2nd, 2024. Houston, we have no problem. Discover more at commodityclassic.com.
We hope you'll join us. Until then, make it a great day, everybody.